Hello, and a very good Wednesday afternoon from here in Atlanta, Georgia. I know if you're in India, it's probably very late at night. And if you're in South Africa, you're 6 hours ahead. So, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. The question that I get asked most, and this is whether I am speaking in Dallas, in Dubai, in Durban, or Dawsonville, is do I get nervous before I go live on television or before I give a big presentation? So, because that is the number one question I get asked, I ask you all, please, to think about the last time you were in a high stakes meeting. Did you get nervous? And I am going to do a complimentary session, and it's in a couple of weeks' time. So please register in advance for this meeting. It's going to be on Thursday, which is, I think, the 26th or 27th of April. And please come and join me, register in advance for it. You're welcome. And we'll go into detail. But I really want to share with you this particular video that I made around a couple of things that you can do each and every time you're walking into a high stakes situation or before you present. Hello, I'm Nadia, a professional speaker and broadcaster. And I speak around the world and I get asked lots of questions. I get asked, who's the best person you've ever interviewed? What was it like to meet Nelson Mandela? And is George Clooney really so sexy? But the question I get asked most, and this is from Dubai to Durban, is before you give a presentation or before you stand up in front of a group of people, do you get nervous? So I'm going to share a couple of tips, a couple of great antidotes to dealing with your nerves. The first and most powerful antidote to nervousness is mental. What is your mind focusing on when you feel nervous? And at this point, I ask you to start developing something called your positive emotional memory database. And what is that? That's a series of positive past experiences that validate you. So think for a moment of anything in the last couple of years, be it a job, promotion, or getting a job, or even watching your child being born. Something that when you recall makes you smile, makes you feel successful, confident, and powerful. And as you get nervous and as you're faced with an intimidating scenario, simply play that video in your mind, and it's amazing how your body will respond. The second thing that I always do is I go to the far end of wherever I'm speaking or to the back end of the CNN newsroom, and I do something rather unusual. I take a deep breath in and I go 1, 2, 3, huh! Let me show you that again. 1, 2, 3, huh! Now, that's one of those things that you really have to do backstage and not in front of your audience. One of the tendencies when people get nervous is that their voice often gets high-pitched and breathy. So, one of the most powerful things you can do so that you don't sound nervous is a series of voice exercises. Very simply, taking the vowel sounds A, E, I, O, and U. Start with hum, mum, mum, hum, mum, mum, hum, mum, mum, hum, mum, mum. Then with the vowel sound E, him, 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 with the vowel sound I, him, 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 with the vowel sound O, hum, mum, hum, mum, hum, mum, with the vowel sound U, hum, mum, hum, mum, hum, mum. I hope you notice the sound is now in front of my mouth, and it's very resonant and round, and it sounds deep, and I sound relaxed. One of the best antidote to nerves is the 3 P's of practice, practice, practice. Know who you're speaking to, what you want them to think, feel, and do as a result of this communication. And I like to ask a question when I start a presentation. That way, the focus goes from me and the attention goes from me to the audience. So practice asking a question. I've shared a couple of tips with you, and very briefly, if you want more detail on any of these, please take a look at my book, Small Changes, Big Impact, which is maximizing your presence and leveraging the power of your personal brand. It is available on Amazon.com. Hamamam, hamamam, himimim, homomom, hamamam, hem, him, him, hom, hum. Hamamam, 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 hamamim, 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 himim, mim, 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 hamamam, 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 mum, 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 mum. So much. So just a couple of tips on overcoming nervousness, but I will tell you, and I call it, the 3 Ps of giving a presentation: preparation, preparation, and preparation. And if you really prepare in a certain way, then it is so much easier to walk into a presentation or a high stakes meeting relaxed. So for more information about my complimentary session, where we'll go into detail about how you can make your presentations more powerful and overcome nervousness, please go onto my website, nadiaspeaks.com. And I welcome your questions and your input, and just continue the journey. Because the reality is, and I've been doing this for 3 decades, yes, I know that does age me, but there's certain fundamental things that you can do each and every time you get nervous. And I'm not saying that you won't be nervous. What you'll learn is techniques and a methodology that will help you understand your nervousness, use that nervousness to give you energy, and ensure that you start every presentation with just ease and confidence. So thank you for joining me. Any questions, please reach out, and I look forward to staying in touch and seeing you next week.